Air traffic control facilities are working with a glorified skeleton crew.
Concern of the partial government shutdown entering its 22nd day, making it the longest federal closure in history. A crash on K96 causing a major traffic backup, and we now know what may have caused that. Plus, that rain turned into snow in parts of Cakeland. It's a winter weather storm that we are tracking for you this morning, and we have details on what you all need to know first right here on Good Morning Kansas.
Now, live from the Cake Studios, this is Good Morning Kansas.
Well, good morning, everybody. We're so thrilled to have you here at 8 o'clock on this Saturday morning. We have a lot in store for you, certainly in regard to our snow coverage. We have a live look at conditions across the state, including Tony. He's gathering info for us on the road, tracking everything he can. But Blake, we're going to go ahead.
Cold up in
He is
Hayes.
cold. Tony, we feel you, man. We're going to get to you in a second, I promise. But why don't we go ahead and get to everything that we need to know? A lot of snowfall for some folks.
Yeah, and
several inches.
Several inches. Yeah, we got a report at Scott State Lake of 9 inches of snowfall.
Wow.
That's the heaviest amount within
That's incredible.
Cakeland. Since we left you at 7 o'clock, we did get an expansion on that winter weather advisory. It now does include Butler County as well as for Cowley County and Chautauqua County. That goes until noon, and here's the reason why. Notice that blue band that you see from El Dorado through Augusta down toward Winfield and Arc City. Well, that's some heavier snowfall. We have reports of about an inch down toward the Arc City area, but the road conditions are deteriorating in a hurry. Here in Wichita right now, we're just seeing a few flakes. That's about it. And honestly, I'm not expecting any additional accumulation for the Wichita area. Northwest Kansas are pretty much done with the snowfall, but the roads, they're still snow packed. You can see a few flurries from St. Francis over toward Goodland, but not much to write home about. Southwest Kansas right now, the snow wrapping up in a hurry. We had some heavy snowfall overnight from Garden City over toward Dodge, but right now we're just talking flurries and light snow showers at best. Great Bend, Larned, you're still into some light snowfall as well. We got a report of 5 inches of snowfall out of McPherson, and we're still into some very light snowfall right now, right around 4 inches in Lindsborg and across north central Kansas, Beloit back over toward Concordia, Mankato. We're still seeing some light to moderate rainfall. We got a report out of Burr Oak up into Jewell County of about 5.5 inches of snow. So we did see some significant snowfall out of this. Here's that Scott State Lake report of 9 inches of snowfall. Leota, 8 inches of snowfall. Near Dodge City, 6 inches. Hoxie, 5.5 inches of snowfall. And over toward McPherson, 5 inches. Oakley, 5 inches. Hayes, 4.5 inches. A mile to the north of Hayes. Emporia checking in with 4 inches of snowfall. And across western Kansas and Sharon Springs, 3.5 inches of snow. Here's Garden City right now. The snowfall on the ground, the streets, they're snow-packed. Alive like you see in the Central Care Cancer Center KCAM. Still 29 degrees with those winds out in the north at 21 miles per hour. Those winds aren't going anywhere. Here in Wichita right now, you can see from our KCAM downtown, our Central Care Cancer Center KCAM, there are some flurries out there, but a lot of this not even hitting the ground. It's 33 right now with those winds out in the north at 14 miles per hour. The light snowfall comes to an end by noon in Wichita. Otherwise, a cloudy afternoon. We'll hover right around freezing basically all day. With those gusty winds out in the north, it's going to feel like the teens and the 20s though. We're tracking that snowfall and we'll give you live looks along I-70 coming up in just a few minutes. Annette?
All right, thanks, Blake. This morning, a potential danger on the road. The Kansas Highway Patrol's warning of slick conditions of nearly every part of the state. I want you to take a look at this map. This is the current look at conditions. Now, the purple on the map indicates completely covered roads, which covers a majority of Kansas, as we see here, minus that far northwest and then the south central parts of the state. The blue is for those partially covered, and also the brown we see here indicates those seasonal conditions, and seasonal conditions can be patchy, slick spots after frost comes out, and we experience that like we have from overnight. So we can see some trouble in all parts that are indicated there in color. Really important for everybody to take it easy out there as we embrace the weather today. But to give us a greater idea as to what to expect this morning, we do have meteorologist Tony Law back. Tony, you're out there in Hayes. What are you seeing this morning? A whole lot of snow, I'm sure.
Yeah, Annette, it is a winter wonderland. You can see behind me here pretty much all the snow is starting really to kind of wind down. We've got some light flurries, but the winds have kind of kicked up a little bit more so than last night. And of course, yesterday when this all started, it was a really heavy, wet snow. As the night went on, it kind of became more of a dry snow. Now, as I was traveling up here from Wichita yesterday in a very cold rain, low cloud decks, and once I got into Hays, it turned to sleet and eventually turned to snow. And as a result, we saw the snow really start sticking to the roads almost immediately. And when it came down at its heaviest and of course in its wettest form, it made a huge mess of I-70, completely snowpacking it. Several vehicles, including a semi in the median. I counted 7 spinouts between here and Ellis, which is a 14-mile stretch of I-70 here between Hays and Ellis. So I can only imagine how many more cars ended up in the ditch outside of that. KDOT crews were able to get out once the snow started and started clearing, and that's kind of where we have left off this morning here. I-70 behind me is moving pretty good. Everybody's taking it slow and easy, but certainly one thing you need to be aware of are slick spots. We're not going to be dealing with the snowpack that we saw last night, but a lot of icy places. It's very, very cold out here, so certainly even though the roads may look clear in some instances, you definitely want to take it very, very slow. Side streets are still pretty snowpacked here in Hays as well, and I'm even starting to see maybe some breaks in the clouds. I think we're going to stay mostly overcast, but just off to over my shoulder here, I'm seeing a little bit of some of that lower cloud deck starting to clear out. So hopefully the snow coming to an end here in Hays. Reporting live from Hays, I'm meteorologist Tony Lawback. Cake News on your side.
All right, thanks so much, Tony. Also breaking overnight, we are learning of a deadly accident, all due to the weather. The Kansas Turnpike reports that a driver was traveling north on I-335 about 10 miles south of Topeka, and that accident taking place around 9 last night. A driver lost control of his vehicle on a snow-covered road. His pickup, it spun out of control and then hit a barrier wall facing the oncoming traffic. The 62-year-old driver died not long after that crash. Nobody else was hurt in the accident. Why don't we go ahead and take you up to north central Kansas, where people are seeing plenty of snow, but as we've shown you already, all parts of the state really getting that experience right now. One viewer sharing this view of outside of their house. The steps and the trees, as we see there, they're getting covered. Also, Heather sends us this snowy photo from earlier this morning of that snow out in Osborne, Kansas. And though we're not getting snow like that down here in south central Kansas, we've seen some flurries out there this morning and a little bit of precipitation, including on the vehicles outside of the Cake News studio. Certainly an icy start to the day, but so far roads haven't been that tricky for people down here in Sedgwick County. But we've been keeping tabs on things, and we'll let you know if any problems develop as a result of the weather in all parts of the state. But of course, to keep tabs on the latest with closings especially, be sure to head over to our website at cake.com. You'll find all the closings. There's a tab at the top of our screen on the website. It's highlighted over in yellow. Now, Wichita City crews had plenty of salt and sand on standby for this storm, treating the roads. In fact, right now, rain has been falling most of the day yesterday in the Wichita area, causing those wet roads. You know what, it's been a little cold since then, leading to a little bit icier conditions. But right now, we're 33 degrees outside, so not quite at freezing. But you know what, on those elevated roadways, we could see problems. Now, we've been speaking with 911 dispatchers this morning, and they say not a whole lot of issues out there, but that does not mean we're in the clear. It's always best to be careful, as those conditions may be misleading.
It always seems like we have a short memory on that, and we really want to keep people safe, that they stay out of those kind of issues as you're going the elevated roadways. If it's starting to drop below freezing, it's going to get really hazardous up there.
Like I said, we could see that today. Now, the rain caused this accident in Barber County. 2 deputies and an inmate were hurt after their car hydroplaned east of Medicine Lodge and hit a storage tank. That all took place yesterday afternoon. The Kansas National Guard is on standby to help with stranded drivers this weekend. State emergency managers say the Guard will help local law enforcement if and when drivers do get stuck and can't get out. Now, they're urging people to simply stay home this weekend, but if that's not an option for you, they are reminding drivers to dial 511 to get those road condition updates through your phone. But also, your phone needs to have the Cake First Alert weather app. Do me a favor, just download it already. That'll help you stay on top of everything throughout this winter weather season. Really helpful to making sure that you and your family are safe. A head-on crash on K96 shut down westbound traffic for hours yesterday morning. Now, troopers say a driver of a pickup truck was heading east when he crossed the median and hit a westbound car head-on. Now, both drivers were taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Troopers say the accident may have been caused by a medical issue. A Kansas water park where a 10-year-old boy was decapitated has not said whether it will be open for this upcoming season. Now, Schlitterbahn, their season passes for this year are not available on the park's website, but they are available on the company's 4 Texas locations. Work last year started to dismantle that slide where the accident happened. Several people are charged in the case accused of neglect that caused that boy's death or led up to it. Now, this morning, we have entered the 22nd day of the government shutdown, making it the longest one in federal history. 800,000 workers, a part of that partial shutdown, receiving a paycheck with nothing but zeros on it. Employees across the nation are sharing images of their pay stubs. They're also sharing stories about what they're going to do to get by, some even calling certain companies for help.
They said, well, we're really sorry that you're going through this, but you have 30 days to get your payment in full. And after 30 days, we report you to the creditors.
I have enough for one more mortgage payment, and I got to go to CarMax tomorrow and sell my car.
President Donald Trump is standing by his words, saying he will not compromise unless Congress passes a plan to build a border wall. Now, air traffic controllers, they are suing the Trump administration for making them work without pay. That brings us now to, let's see, a story from the state. A new lactation room officially opens in the Kansas State Capitol. Take a look here. The cutting of that ribbon there for the new breastfeeding room for mothers to have a private place to go to. The state says support for breastfeeding employees can help save money and healthcare expenses and reduce employee turnover and absences. Well, we have a lot in store for you coming up. We're always tracking this weather, right? But we're talking about some good in our community, including helping animals. But a rescue group, they can actually use your help, the big effort to protect our furry friends. And we're also going to rise to the occasion today. A little later, we're celebrating one of your favorite family dishes. We're talking pizza with a restaurant that some say simply is the best at making it.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Hey, good news. Across northwest Kansas, the winter weather advisory was allowed to expire on time. Over toward Topeka, even better news. The winter storm warning was downgraded to a winter weather advisory. Bad news, El Dorado, Winfield, Wellington now included in a winter weather advisory that goes until noon. We're tracking it for you coming up next.